Hi yogis, my name is Lenka and welcome to my channel Yoga with Shgung. In this video we will talk about wrist and we will do some wrist stretches and also some release for the forearms. If you do a lot of arm balancing, then you might feel your forearms a little bit sore, maybe your wrist a little bit sore, also the joints. These are really tiny kind of joints that you're trying to bear whole weight of your whole body. So you should not overdo it. Like if you are just starting with yoga, especially, and if you feel your wrists, then take it a rest for some days and always stay in the poses only for a little bit. And then once you get used to it, your wrist will get stronger, your muscles will get stronger. Also, not just the bones, but also the joints like inside, maybe even cartilage, I don't know, might get thicker, I have no idea. But basically, you will get stronger. Mostly the muscles will support the joints. And then over the time, you can go for a longer hold, for example, in crow pose or in any arm balance handstand. First, I always like to start, not always, but a lot of times I start with some wrist stretches, especially if it's a flexibility class. And my favorite one is just a simple cat-cow or a tabletop position, and making sure that already here that your arms are just slightly outward rotated, so your index fingers are maybe pointing forward. And that's because if you look at your wrist creases and you bend forward, you don't want to have like a little bit of an angle in between the wrist. It's nice if you have a nice straight line, the wrist parallel in one line as you bend them forward. But the other point is that anytime you put weight into your palms, you will engage a little bit more from your muscles if you will keep your shoulders strong. And if you started a tiny bit of external rotation, you will keep your shoulders in a nice strong position, more probably than if you would be here. You can already see that my shoulders creep towards my face, towards my ears. So this is not totally like a safe position to be here. So I like the index fingers forward. And then I like to spread the fingers. You don't have to overdo this, like going like in a spasm sort of. It can be just wider distance in between the fingers. And pressing the inside palms always. The knuckles underneath your index and your thumb should be pressing down along with your fingertips, as if you wanted to claw or dig into the mat with your fingertips. And then you can start to move forward. Once you have that foundation, you can even keep that weight or the pressing action in your palms as you move backwards. And you might feel that there is a little bit less weight on your wrists. And then you can explore how much can you go forward and how much back. And it should feel good if you really engage properly from the muscles, from digging those fingertips. And then some people even ask, what about the position? You can see that I will have like different knuckles bent on my fingers. What kind of position is the best? It doesn't really matter. So some people will have their fingers flat, straight. Some people will have like spider fingers in their arm balances. It helps them to really make a strong foundation. And so you can choose whatever variation you like, or maybe don't think about it and your fingers will go into that position automatically. Good. Next round, turn the fingers away from each other. So to the sides, and then again, stretching the wrist, moving to the right and to the left. Still keeping the inside palms down on the mat. And lastly, you turn the fingers, if possible, all the way towards your knees or as much as it's possible. So it doesn't have to go all the way back, it can be just slightly to the back. Inhaling forward, you lean forward, and then as exhaling, you lean back. And you can do these stretches not just in tabletop, you can do it in plank, in downward dog, wherever you can do this. And if you want to spice it up, you can even try to do cat-cow here. So opening your collarbones, your chest, and then rounding. You can spice it in any way you like. The next stretch I like is to lean forward, pressing the fingers and the mounts into the ground, and then exhaling, leaning back. And even if you can, imagine you can bend the elbows. So going a little bit more into the stretch. Inhale forward and exhaling, coming back, maybe even peeling the palms off the mat, but keeping that index finger mount or knuckle grounded down. Inhale forward, very carefully, slowly exhaling back. And then just unpeel the palms, move the wrist a little bit. I like to also stretch my toes at the same time, so if you want, you can tuck the toes into the mat and sit on your heels with your hips. Some people like to stretch also the palms here while sitting, so you can do that. You can do a finger by finger, that might feel good. And doing it again slowly and carefully, since these are really tiny bones and joints in your hands. And now it's more about the fingers actually than the wrist if you are doing the finger by finger. The next exercise is the opposite. We rarely do in yoga this other kind of stretch of the top of your wrist. However, I like this exercise since it strengthens more the muscles from the inside of your forearms, which you should be actually using in your arm balances. If you have your palms like this and you are trying to balance to go a little bit more backwards instead of going all the way forward, you have to engage the muscles from the bottom or inside of your forearm. So just imagine a crow pose and you start to fall too much forward, too much, then you press the fingers down and that allows you to come back, and this is the action of these muscles. And this exercise, of course, also decompress the wrist from a lot of this flexion action. So bring the backs of the palms this time on the mat, spreading your fingers again, and then you can bend the elbows and just try to make super tight fists. So curling the four fingers into the palm and then bringing the thumbs on top of the knuckles, and then imagine that you want to peel the palms off, away from the mat. And this is already super hard, trying to do this, keeping that in mind, engaged. You try to extend the elbows straight, still the fingers are really strongly pressing into those tight fists. Then release, bend the elbows, keeping as much weight forward on your hands as you need to open the fingers, and then make tight fists. Start peeling the backs of the palms away as you bring the elbows as straight as possible. Inhale back, open, exhale, tight fists. One more inhale, exhale, and we will this time come onto the knuckles. So rolling the palms, keeping some weight onto the hands as you come onto the knuckles. Then if you want, you can go further and dip the fists forward, like if you were holding an ice cream cone and you want to just press it into the mat, and then even going backwards. Since this is also something where your wrist can do, or what your wrist can do. So coming back and forth, even bending the elbows as you come back, and then as you come forward, extending your elbows. Good. And come to your knuckles, and we will roll to the backs of the palms. So very carefully, keep some weight. You might have to bend the elbows in the process, the slower you do it. Open the fingers, inhale, and exhale. Close fists, and then extend. Move onto your knuckles. Maybe one more time forward, and then backwards, keeping the elbows squeezing in towards each other. Roll into the backs of the palms, open, and release. Okay, shake your hands a little bit. Another amazing way to decompress that wrist is to just make fists and try to grab the palm, and as if you wanted to pull on the palm away from your elbow. The same for the other hand. Trying to create a little bit of space in that joint. Might feel good. Another way to strengthen your forearms are these exercises when you open and close your palms. And if you want to add some shoulder exercise, you can also have the arms forward, so that will strengthen your deltoids, since you have to hold them like this for some time. It's always good. And if this is too easy, going for a second level is the arms up. And the exercise is opening the fingers and closing in tight fists again. Really stretching the fingers out, and maybe going slower at the beginning and going a little bit deeper into that stretch and that fist, or you can start to go faster. But trying to still keep a proper kind of way of doing it, so really spreading the fingers and making the fist. And then again, as I said, if you like, arms over the head is an option. You can move the shoulders in all the direction, even going with the arms behind you in an extension, and then going even faster and going super fast, and continuing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, go super fast, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Should feel those muscles here on your forearms from this. Shake it out. One of the things that you can assess of how much you should go, or what is actually your basic flexibility, is if you bring your forearms together like this. So forearms trying to keep like some or no distance in between your wrists and no distance in between the elbows, maybe impossible, and then opening the palms away from each other, so flexing the palms towards the backs of the forearms, and then seeing if you have a 90 degree. If you don't, I don't have exactly 90 degree in one or in maybe in both hands. That means that every time you will go into an arm balance, your wrist will suffer a little bit. So making them much stronger, making those muscles that support them, is that much more important than going slower from the beginning. And once you're finished with everything that you were doing on your hands, on your wrists, then I like to always massage the muscles. This self-massage kind of technique is really nice and it might feel really good. So the first part is the inside of your forearms, and just notice where the muscle is. It's more towards your elbow, so the meaty part, the belly of the muscle is more higher. And for this one, you can place the whole forearm down with your palm facing up, and then either you use your elbow and you dig into that muscle, going from the elbow all the way down towards your wrist, or if this is not enough, you can even come onto your right knee in this case, and using the opposite knee to bring some kind of weight and massage allowing the fingers to relax and to move when you press the muscle. And then changing to the other hand. Again, either using your elbow, starting from the end, moving towards the palm, observing and finding kind of places where it feels a little bit more stuck or it hurts a little bit more, and maybe spending some time there, maybe even going slower. And again, if you like to use that knee, you use your other hand to help you to find stability, and then you dig that knee into your forearm. Good. And the second part is the top of your forearm. Here you place the palm facing down and you move your fingers and you notice where it actually has an effect on your hand. So it's more from the outside, again closer to the elbow, where the muscles will move. It's not really here on the inside. And for this one you can use your elbow and even the upper part of your elbow to dig in those muscles. You might feel a little bit of ends in your fingers if you hit a nerve with your massage. It doesn't mean that there is something wrong, it's totally normal. You can massage everything. Your nerves are rather pliable if you don't put pressure on them for a longer time. There is nothing going to happen to them. And then you change to the other hand. Again, you can move your fingers if you like to assess where does it move. And then using like even this bony part of your elbow to massage it in circles, going down towards the wrist. And back up to the elbow. Noticing those weird feelings in your fingers. Good. That's it from me today, and if you like this video, like it physically, if you have any kind of other exercises, you can always comment. Let me know if you do something different, if you know something that helped you, for example, to gain flexibility or strength in your wrists. I would be happy to know about it because I always like to learn also new stuff. Thank you for watching, thank you for practicing this warm-up and cool down, I guess, for the wrists with me. And see you in the next video. Bye!